For a long time, people have believed that aliens are real. Beyond the little green men we see in movies, humanity's fascination with extraterrestrial life has only grown stronger with the countless photos and videos of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, that have leaked online. Most of the time, the sources of these images remain anonymous, which makes them easy for governments to dismiss as unreliable. But despite that, a huge number of people in America and around the world have always believed that alien races exist and that these mysterious photos and clips are authentic glimpses of something extraordinary. This growing controversy eventually reached the halls of power. On Wednesday, July 26, 2023, the United States Congress held a historic hearing to gather testimonies from whistleblowers who claimed to have experienced shocking encounters with UAPs. The goal was to bring these stories to light and reveal secrets the government had long kept hidden from the public about possible alien activity. At the center of the hearing were three key witnesses, each of them highly respected in their fields. The first was Ryan Graves, a former U.S. Navy F-18 pilot. Next was David Grush, a former senior intelligence officer and technical advisor on UAP issues. Finally, there was retired Navy Commander David Fravor, famously known for his first-hand account of the Tic Tac UFO incident. These weren't random conspiracy theorists or anonymous informants. All three men were seasoned professionals with years of service in the U.S. government, making their testimonies incredibly credible. That credibility was critical because one of the biggest obstacles to UFO and alien reports being taken seriously has always been source verification. When claims come from unknown individuals, they're easily dismissed as hoaxes or speculation. But this hearing marked the first time high-level, reputable individuals with impeccable records came forward to speak openly about what they had seen. Before their testimonies began, each man swore an oath to tell the truth, adding even more weight to their statements. Ryan Graves was the first to take the floor. He recounted his own experiences and revealed that over 30 other commercial airline crew members had also shared their personal encounters with UAPs. Graves emphasized that these mysterious objects are no longer rare anomalies but have become increasingly common sightings for both pilots and military aircrew. The real issue, he explained, is that these incidents are heavily underreported due to strict protocols and systemic restrictions. According to Graves, the government is fully aware of the alien presence in U.S. airspace but has maintained a decades-long strategy of questioning, discrediting, and burying eyewitness testimonies. Graves shared a chilling story from 2014. At the time, his squadron had just finished upgrading their aircraft at Virginia Beach when their radar systems began picking up unusual signals in the airspace. Roughly 10 miles off the coast, they visually spotted something unlike anything they had ever seen before. A black cube seemingly trapped inside a transparent sphere, hovering in the sky. The object slowly approached the lead aircraft, and Graves estimated its size to be somewhere between 5 and 15 feet in diameter. Immediately, the mission commander called off the exercise and ordered everyone back to base. Strangely, once they returned, no one spoke a word about the sighting. It was as if the incident never happened. Over the following years, Graves realized this wasn't an isolated event. Sightings became so frequent that pilots were eventually debriefed about the dangers of encountering UAPs during missions. But even then, when they tried to raise concerns or share their fears, they were silenced and given no real platform to speak out. This frustration eventually led Graves to create the organization Americans for Safe Aerospace, which is dedicated to supporting UAP witnesses and providing them with a safe space to tell their stories. Graves concluded his testimony with a sobering warning. He pointed out that numerous alien spacecraft sightings have been reported recently in areas like Hawaii and the North Atlantic Ocean, but he believes these are only a fraction of what's really happening behind the scenes. According to him, the U.S. Pentagon and military likely hold secrets far more extraordinary than what has been revealed to the public so far. Next came David Grush, the second witness, whose revelations stunned the room. Grush explained that he had served as an active intelligence officer for 14 years in the U.S. Air Force and currently holds a Level 15 position at the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, a role that gave him direct access to classified information on UAPs. In his years of service, David Grush gathered overwhelming information proving that the US government has been operating with extreme secrecy when it comes to aliens. Secrecy so deep that even Congress was kept in the dark. Grush shared that he had personally spoken to numerous individuals with long, distinguished records of service to the country who had first-hand knowledge of these matters. Many of them provided him with compelling evidence in the form of photographs, videos, classified documents, and recorded testimonies. Grush believed it was long overdue for the government to be held accountable and for the public to finally learn what was happening behind closed doors. The most shocking moment of Grush's testimony came when he revealed that the US government has been running a decades-long program dedicated to the experimentation and reverse engineering of alien remains. According to him, the government has been secretly recovering debris and remains from UFO crash sites for years and conducting experiments not only on alien bodies but also on their spacecraft to harness advanced technology. Grush admitted that he himself was denied full access to this highly classified program, but that denial only fueled his determination to blow the whistle. The final witness was retired Commander David Fravor, who recounted his now famous encounter with the Tic Tac UFO. At the time, Fravor was commanding an F divided by a -18F squadron aboard the USS Nimitz. The incident took place off the coast of Southern California on November 14, 2004. Reports had been coming in about mysterious aerial vehicles performing unimaginable maneuvers, ascending and descending 80,000 feet in under a second. For context, 80,000 feet is the edge of space. To travel that distance in less than a second defied every law of physics known to modern aviation. When Fravor and his team arrived at the location, they spotted a strange, small, white object shaped like a tic-tac. As Fravor approached it, the object seemed to respond intelligently, mirroring his movements as if it was studying him. What made the encounter even more unnerving was that the craft had no wings, no exhaust, and no visible markings of any kind, yet it was roughly the size of his fighter jet. In a bold move, Fravor attempted to cut off the object, but in an instant, it vanished and reappeared 60 miles away in mere seconds. Fravor later said, "I think what we experienced was, like I said, well beyond the material science and capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years." Each of the three witnesses brought something unique to the table. Graves highlighted the alarming frequency of encounters, Fravor shared his first-hand experience with technology that defied explanation, and Grush offered the deepest insight into the government's secret operations. Of them all, Grush appeared to be the most knowledgeable about the discovery and exploitation of non-human specimens. Thanks to his access to highly classified intelligence over the years, he knew a great deal about the covert activities of NASA and the US military, activities that had been ongoing for decades. He also had the trust of numerous colleagues, pilots, and insiders who confided in him about their own experiences. When Grush was directly asked whether the US government had ever confirmed the existence of extraterrestrials, he didn't hesitate. His answer was an unequivocal yes. According to him, the government has been aware of non-human races since as far back as the 1930s. He also revealed that there are secret facilities and military bases specifically used to store and research materials recovered from alien crash sites. Although he chose not to disclose certain specifics during the public hearing, he had already provided those details to the Inspector General of Police and other intelligence agencies investigating the matter. Grush's caution wasn't unwarranted. Public hearings like this one carried immense risks, especially for someone openly accusing the government of concealing alien life. By testifying, Grush had already made himself a target. Revealing too much in a public forum could have put his life in even greater danger. As he explained, he had already been subjected to threats and intimidation from high-ranking officials who were desperate to silence him. Despite the danger, he pushed forward, determined to share at least part of the truth with the world. Despite the danger he faced, David Grush was willing to testify and share everything he could with the public. Some of the information he withheld during the hearing was extremely sensitive, including the names and locations of all the special access programs that held records on aliens. Grush revealed that these programs operated under strict protocols and specialized tradecraft, which allowed them to function completely outside the supervision of any government agency. What made this even more alarming was the level of secrecy involved. According to Grush, even high-ranking members of Congress were denied access to certain alien and UFO-related files. Representative Tim Burchett confirmed this by stating that even individuals with Title 10 and Title 50 authorizations weren't granted access to these programs. For context, Title 10 and Title 50 represent some of the highest levels of authority in the U.S. military. Title 50 covers covert military operations and intelligence activities, while Title 10 governs clandestine military operations. Yet, even those with this authority were kept out of the loop. Grush explained that to gain clearance for these programs, individuals needed to hold TSSCI clearance, which stands for Top Secret or Sensitive Compartmented Information Clearance. This clearance grants access to highly classified intelligence that is unavailable to the public, but even this wasn't enough. Candidates also had to meet additional undisclosed criteria. While Grush didn't elaborate on these specific conditions, he made it clear that ultimate access was determined solely by those who controlled these programs. Tim Burchett pressed him further, asking if Grush knew exactly who controlled these secretive programs. Grush's answer was cautious but telling. He explained that the individuals in charge were a group of senior executive officials, both current and former members of the U.S. government, both ins and outs, as he phrased it. He refused to provide further names or details. Burchett then shared something even more unsettling. Each year, Congress conducts an audit of the Pentagon, and year after year, they discovered approximately $1 billion unaccounted for. This was taxpayer money, yet no explanation was ever given for where it went. Burchett speculated that these funds might be secretly funneled into programs involving alien retrieval and exploitation. Building on this suspicion, Burchett asked Grush if he could name any agencies involved in the recovery and study of non-human remains from UFO crash sites. Grush avoided answering directly, instead revealing that he had already shared detailed information with congressional committees and intelligence communities in over 11 hours of testimony behind closed doors. However, he did disclose something significant. The U.S. government often outsourced its top-secret UAP programs to private defense contractors, which he referred to as metal benders. These highly specialized companies were tasked with transporting alien samples, recovering wreckage, and handling other classified operations. Their contracts forbade them from ever revealing what they saw or knew to anyone outside the government. Grush then dropped another revelation. Many of his colleagues had been injured during encounters with UAPs, while others were harmed not by the phenomena themselves, but by government officials attempting to intimidate and silence them. Though he couldn't share details, he also mentioned witnessing one alien-related event live, alongside his wife, that was deeply disturbing. The testimonies brought a rare sense of unity to the hearing. Both Congress members and the witnesses agreed that the government's lack of transparency about aliens and UAPs had gone too far. Too many videos, documents, and reports that should have been public had been locked away under heavy classification. Fravor pointed out that once a document is classified, it essentially vanishes, stored away in a vault with countless other files. Even members of Congress would struggle to locate it again. Grush agreed, stating that much of the UAP footage and documentation that has been buried never should have been hidden from the public in the first place. Grush suggested that the government could have at least edited certain footage to obscure sensitive data rather than hiding everything from the public entirely. This level of secrecy has long been standard protocol when it comes to alien sightings and UFO evidence. In fact, whistleblowers from within NASA had already revealed this practice years ago. They exposed how NASA would deliberately alter or censor space footage, sometimes blurring sections of videos or covering up specific objects with black cubes. For years, alien conspiracy theorists had made these claims, and their suspicions were only reinforced when a hacker named Gary infiltrated NASA's computer systems. Gary exposed multiple images that had been heavily edited, showing proof that NASA altered space photos and videos before making them public. He also revealed that NASA's internal system classified its data into different categories such as filtered, unfiltered, raw, and processed, proving that what the public sees is often far from the original material. Gary strongly believes that even hearings like this one won't uncover much because the government and military will continue to regulate and filter any information they release. According to him, the only way to get real answers is to listen directly to the witnesses themselves. This sentiment was echoed by Congressman Mr. Bowles, who wasn't satisfied with rumors or second-hand reports. He wanted solid evidence. During the hearing, Bowles asked David Grush point-blank if he had personally seen the alien spacecraft or bodies he claimed the US government had been hoarding. Grush's response was careful but telling. He said, "I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I can answer that question privately behind closed doors." It was a reminder that Grush clearly knows far more than he's able to reveal publicly. The fear of losing his career, his family, or even his life has forced him to hold back crucial details. This is one of the primary reasons the congressional hearing was held in the first place, to bring transparency to an issue shrouded in secrecy for decades. As the witnesses themselves admitted, there has never been a safe way for military pilots, soldiers, or government agents to share their UFO encounters. The very nature of their jobs prohibits them from speaking out, and when they do report these incidents to their superiors, the information is simply buried. No one wants to acknowledge these things exist, and no one wants to take responsibility for something they can't explain. That culture of silence has allowed this secrecy to persist for generations, leaving the public in the dark. But the hearing also revealed that some members of Congress had their own UFO encounters to investigate. Congressman Matt Gaetz shared a shocking recent case that had crossed his desk, one that required immediate attention. The incident took place at Eglin Air Force Base, where a flight crew reported encountering a UAP during a training exercise. Gaetz, along with Congressman Burchett, traveled to the base to speak with the flight crew and review any available photos, videos, and radar data related to the sighting. However, they were met with resistance. At first, they were outright denied access to both the data and the crew. It took significant pressure before the officials finally handed over some of the radar images and photographs of the incident. Even then, Gaetz and Burchett were only allowed to speak with a single crew member, the one who captured the now infamous image of the UFO. According to Gaetz, the picture was beyond anything he could have imagined. He described it in his own words, "The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. And I'm someone informed on the matter, having served on the Armed Services Committee for 7 years, and having served on the committee that oversees DARPA and advanced technologies for several years." This statement carried serious weight coming from Gaetz, a man deeply familiar with advanced defense technology. He also spoke at length with the crew member they were permitted to interview, who recounted the entire incident firsthand. The testimony and the evidence Gaetz had seen left him stunned and further convinced that these were not man-made objects. It turns out that on that fateful day, the crew had been out on a test mission over the Gulf of Mexico. Test missions are carefully planned and tightly controlled, ensuring there are no obstructions or unexpected activity in the airspace. But to their shock, they encountered multiple UFOs flying in a precise diamond formation. As they approached the group to investigate, one of the crew members spotted what appeared to be a large floating orb positioned at the center of the formation. This was the same orb captured in the photograph that Matt Gaetz later described as undeniably non-human in origin. The most unsettling detail came when the crew member revealed that as he closed in on the orb, his aircraft's radar suddenly went offline, his FLIR system failed, and he was forced to manually take a picture of the strange object. The implications of this were staggering. The fact that Gaetz, a man with deep knowledge of advanced defense systems, openly stated that this object was not of human design only made the situation more chilling. But what's even more alarming is that the Air Force had tried to keep this entire incident hidden, even from Congress. It raises the question, just how much other information like this has been buried over the years? What if Congress hadn't decided to hold these hearings? What if whistleblowers like David Grush and David Fravor hadn't stepped forward to reveal these extraordinary truths that have been concealed for decades? The existence of an unidentified orb capable of disabling one of the world's most advanced aircraft is deeply concerning. Fravor had been right in his testimony when he warned that these UFOs pose real risks to pilots due to their incredible technological superiority. And yet, despite the growing number of encounters, Air Force and Navy pilots are pressured to remain silent about what they see. Gates recounted that the pilot he spoke with told him plainly that if a pilot wants to protect their career, the best thing to do after encountering a UAP is to say nothing. Any attempt to report these incidents, whether through official channels or discreetly, often results in retaliation. It paints a grim picture of a system seemingly designed to suppress the truth and prevent the public from learning what's really happening. Who's to say aliens aren't already among us? This hearing is only scratching the surface. That's why Congress has scheduled closed-door interviews with Grush and the other witnesses, giving them a chance to reveal information they couldn't share in a public forum. Hopefully, these private sessions will finally peel back the layers of secrecy and bring us closer to understanding the truth about extraterrestrials and their role in our world. Thank you for watching another episode. While you're still here, click on the video on your screen to see more mind-blowing videos like this one.